Okay, and I think we are live. Welcome,
All
everyone,
right,
to the Designer Show. And
everybody.
speaking, hi, everyone. And of course, Chet, Mike, speaking of not knowing what we're going to talk about today, you got just us. Okay, no Renee, no Robin, no Kevin. So, although Kevin might pop in, who knows? But hi, everybody. We got a lot of names we recognize here. Mike, nice to see you. Chad, glad you could make it. Mary, wow, early birds, way to be here. Aaron, how you doing, Aaron? We got to talk. I'd love to catch up with you, Aaron. I hear some changes are happening in your world. So, Mr. Kenny, Mr. Crocker, how are you, buddy? Mike again, and Chad, Vicky, Aaron. You guys are great. I really appreciate that you guys show up. It's John and I were just talking about. We started this show. What did I say?
May
May, May
1st,
of
2020.
Yep, May 2020, right during the height of COVID or the start of COVID, I guess. Um, no one could go anywhere or do anything. It just seemed like a good thing to do, and here we are. So over 5 years later, and we're just still having fun doing this. So appreciate you guys being here. We will do our best to partake some knowledge here of something. I don't know what, but hey, Jeff. Good morning, Doug.
I was just going to
Uh,
mention, Dan, every time you do that, go through everybody's name.
yeah.
It takes me back to my childhood when I was 6 or 7 and the good old show called Romper Room. I see Mike
Okay.
and I see Sally and I see.
And then I suppose if we have to do the birthday thing with
Uh,
Casey Jones, happy birthday to all the boys and girls. And then we get to look in your lunch bag or grab bag. This would be for some of the older guys on the call here.
mhm.
Anyway, all right. So uh, we're going to go over some things today called hacks. And I was just telling John, what is a hack? I mean, it's just really something in chief that you just haven't learned yet, haven't seen yet, or how does it work, or I don't know. It's just all about education. So Chief's got so many tools coming and too many different ways to do things. It's just like, okay, well, what's the best way to do that, or how do you do something like that? So, um, Chad said, not that old. Yeah, that a
Yeah.
boy. Uh, uh, so if you have questions, this is kind of open forum. So we're here to answer any questions you might have as well. But I've got some things I'll cover, and we'll get into that. So I got a little list that I just threw together here before the show, and we'll just kind of step through that. So again, please feel free to ask questions if you have questions.
Yeah. Dan
It's
doesn't
been
need to get through his whole list. So if you got questions, make sure you start asking them.
Yeah, and John and I say yeah, we'll come up with stuff to talk about whether we like it or not. It's just how it is. Kenny remembers Romper Room. Wow, I don't remember Romper Room. I must not have watched that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, LOL Romper Room, Aaron. That could be we could do a game on that these days too, huh? Romper Room.
That'd be fun.
Uh, let's see here. It's been a good summer so far. John, how about you? You've been moving around quite a bit.
Yeah, I've been busy moving kids here and there.
Wow. Yeah, that's the thing when you have family, you got to take care of them. So you
Yep.
got the wherewithal to do it. That's nice that you can help out.
Yep.
Yeah. Fun. I can't believe it. August State Fair is going to start next week. It's like, what? That can't be right. Oh, by the way, we're going to be in Coeur d'Alene for the Chief Architect event. And we have an Airbnb, and I have a room available if someone wants to come and stay with us if they're going to that event. $500 for the whole week. You'd have your own private bedroom. I don't think, not sure, probably not a private bath, but you'd have your own room. And would welcome if you want to come and join us. Just give me an email or a call, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. It'll be fun. Those events are, the chief architect does a nice job with those events. I got to call them too. I want them to take me off that stupid contest they do. Um, I'd rather just watch. I don't want to
Let
participate.
them know that I don't want to do it either.
All right, I'll mention it to them. Yeah, I
I get a
just
hold of
let everybody else have the fun. We don't need to do that anymore.
them. Yeah.
They do a contest where you have teams and you have to do this thing in 5 or 10 minutes that they put up there, and it's it's just kind of a pain. They have fun with it, but I don't
Right.
want to do it anymore. So anyway, speaking of that, um, so if you guys are going to be there, if you're not going to be there and already got a place to stay, look us up. We'd love to meet up with you. We will be there Tuesday afternoon. If you're downtown Coeur d'Alene on Tuesday afternoon, about 1-ish, look for us on Main Street. We'll hopefully, if the weather's nice, be sitting out at a table having lunch. We've done that just about every time we've gone there, I think.
Mhm.
And it's always a lot of fun. We'll sit out there 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it takes, so we can get it till we get into our Airbnb, and it's just fun to meet with everybody. I think we had about 18 people show up one year. That was really cool. And join us. Be fun to see you there. All right, so let's get into Chief and talk about some stuff. Chief's CAD program. All right, I've done these hacks before. This 10 mistakes, all this crap, and I'm always going to start out with this because I think a lot of people, especially when they get into it, they think you're building a house on your computer, and you are kind of. You're building a 3D representation of a house, but Chief's a CAD program. It's a 2D, 3D CAD program that does rendering, does all of this cool stuff for you. Um, Learn to take advantage of the CAD functionality within the program. Don't shy away from it. Don't become scared of it. When you see this XYZ thing and you go, what the heck is that? Okay, so if you guys that have been with the program for a while, you get it. You know exactly what all that stuff is. But if you haven't been, if you're new to Chief, and you're learning what this CAD program can do, X, Y, and Z is simply how things move on the screen. So X is back and forth on the screen. All right. So if you look at the little, what do we call that thing you hit down here, the coordinates system
Yep.
down here. No, that's the coordinate numbers are over here, but that's the coordinate pointer. So X and Y are as you are looking at your screen. X is back and forth. Here's your positive X. So if you put a little arrow on the end of that line there, X would be this way. So if you want to move something that way, just type in a positive number. If you go the other way, you would type in a negative number, go minus X. And same with Y. Y is up, okay? Positive Y is up. And if you're going down, a negative Y is down. So when you want to move something, so if say I wanted to move this window over 2 feet, all right? So I'm going to click on that. And there's lots of different ways to move things in Chief. I could just click on the number, obviously, and change the dimension here. Or I could just start moving it. Oops. I could start moving it, and here's the tab key. Here's that one of those keystrokes that I don't see enough people using. So as I start moving it, or you don't even have to start moving it, just get your cursor and hold down on that center button, and then hit tab. And I could say I want to move this to the right X 2 feet. Okay. And if you're moving it, then you can start to see the number. Okay, so I'm just going to change that minus 24. I don't have to worry about Y because it's stuck it within a wall. But if that were a CAD box or something, I'd go back and make that 0, because when I moved my cursor over, it moved it down a little bit. But I can't move the window out of the wall anyway. So anyway, I type minus 24 to go left, 24 to go right. There, I've moved it 24 inches. So that's the easy way to do that, X, Y. So understand those things. And with Chief's coordinate system too, when we go into a 3D view, this has been really nice because, you go into 3D view like this and you go, well, I want to move that window over, and which way is X or Y? And now we can see it, okay? Because when I look at the coordinate system down here, I can look at this and see that, oh yeah, X, positive X would be that way. Minus X would be that way. So I can just look at that now, and I could move this over whichever way I want, and I could know which way I'm moving it. So if I start moving it to the right and I hit tab, I'm going to have a minus X number there. So if I go minus 24, there we go. So that's your coordinate, the tab key, moving things in Chief. Using that, John, all the time?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at
Oh, you,
restaurant was.
huh?
Tab key move. Tab key move is what I heard.
Yeah, that's that's what we're doing all the time now, right?
Yep.
Um, Now, X17 offers us some new tools as well to move things into place, and we don't need to know X, Y. And that's the 3D dimensioning. Now we're able to draw things more and more in 3D. By the way, if you don't have a 3D mouse, you got to get a 3D mouse. So uh, that's how I'm
Unless,
moving around in here.
unless
Hmm?
you have a Mac. Unless you have a Mac, the Macs still aren't playing
They
with it.
still haven't got it figured out. Why? Why wouldn't they have that figured out? Makes no sense.
I know.
All right. Well, whatever. All right, so that's your XYZ. In 3D, of course, you've got Z. You're going up and down. So if you wanted to move your roof up, if you look here, Now I can see the Z. Now, if you want to, if you're just getting into this and you want something that's a little bit more prominent on the screen, just go into your preferences and go to your coordinate system. And that's not it. Yeah, here it is, right here. And you can change the way that little thing appears in the bottom corner. So if I, let's go, say I go 8 feet tall and I make my text 24 inches tall. So now you can see, of course, if I did feet, that would be good, not inches. So let's go back into that. I want to go 8 feet and 24 inches. Now you're going to get it. Why is that not working, John?
I don't know. Are
That's
you on the
weird.
right one? There's another one that's in the center that you don't have showing there. You got your. Are you working on the one off to the bottom left corner or the one that's in the center of the screen?
This one. Oh, is there one on this? There's not one
Yeah,
in the center.
there's another one that comes up in the center of the screen, I believe.
Add it.
I don't
Oh,
I don't know if it comes up in 3D all the time or not.
let's go back to the floor plan and see if it changed there. No, it changed it to 8 inches. Let's go 96 inches then. See, maybe it just doesn't like the foot sign there. Yeah, they've got a bug there. Didn't like the foot sign. See, there we go. So now it's a little bigger and easier to see. Um, so interesting. Huh. Let me try that one more time, just for the heck of it. So if I type 8 feet, hit tab, it doesn't like the foot sign. So you have to type it in. You have to type it in inches here. Okay, maybe that's the way it is. I don't know. I'll leave that set up there bigger so you guys can see it while we're talking. Anyway, that's your coordinate system. So I like using that a lot. Choose CAD program. Learn to use it like that. Okay, where'd I go here? I lost some things. Why did I lose some things, John? Because I'm in the wrong plan. That's why. Here we are. Okay. Think through the drawing before you start. Again, for those of you new into Chief, a lot of people just open and start drawing. Think about what it is that you're doing. I talk to people all the time about some of the techniques I use when I start a plan. If you're working on a plan and you've got a lot of heights, because you're not just drawing a floor plan, you're drawing a 3D object as well. So you need to have in your brain, at least for me in my brain, what are the numbers I need to be aware of when I'm doing my 3D model. So as I'm getting into this, every plan that you starts on 0 inches on the top of the plywood on the first floor. That's where everything starts. That's Chief's zero world in the 3D world, in the Z axis. So when you talk about coordinates, that's what the 0 would be in your Z. Okay. So as you go up in your plan and you start adding floor systems, which have a height to them, I always talk about if you don't change anything else in your preferences when you get started, get into these defaults, get into your floor system and change that first floor structure so that you can set it up so that your cross sections are going to be correct. So your dimensions are going to be correct for the model that you're trying to create. It's just something that I teach everybody as we get into this. If you don't do anything else, at least do that. And then change your ceiling height too, because if you're drawing a plan that's all 8 foot or 9 foot ceilings, set it up for that. And then as you're adding rooms, they'll be that way. So that's just a good rule of thumb to do that. So do these 2D drawings. And, as you get into Chief and you start learning how to use the CAD tools, I can draw that in about probably less than 2 minutes, that whole section that you see there, because of the way that you use the tools. All right. John, you got anything you want to add to that?
It seems like I thought of something while you were talking, and now it lost me.
Supposed to write that stuff down, dude.
I know. I don't have my iPad here that I can write on right now.
Okay. You ever heard of this thing called? You ever heard of this thing called paper?
Paper. Me and paper are allergic to each other. We just repel each other like oil and water. Always have.
You guys did a good job. Designer show number 30. All right. What did we talk about in designer show 30, Doug?
Yeah, that was a time ago.
I think it was probably one of those like hacks like this. I think that might have been one where I did talk about that. Shortcut keys. Let's talk about 2 of them. All right. I have a whole slew of shortcut keys I use all the time. If you only use the first one, open dialog boxes. Every time you click on something, you're probably going to be opening the dialog box. Okay. You're going to click on the little open door icon. Now, Chief's default, I mean, you can go down there and click on the door. Chief's default keystroke is Control E, Control Edit Dialog. Now, um, this is one of the few keys where I only use a single keystroke to do something in Chief, and that's E, because you're going to use it hundreds of times every day as you're drawing things. Why not set it up so it's easy to use? Now, I've had other people use different keystrokes. What was one? Somebody did for open. What was another one someone told me once that they used? I don't remember, but all you do is go up to Tools, Toolbars, and Hotkeys, customize hotkeys. Again, I've talked about this in other hacks. I'm not talking about it again because it's one of the best keystrokes that I give to people. So just type the word open. Just go in here and search for the word open. Look for it where it says open object. Okay. You're looking for this item right here. And it's going to say Control E over here. And all you're going to do is go down here, type in E, and you're going to hit a sign. So make sure you have that highlighted. Type E and hit a sign. And now you're going to have that hotkey assigned. So anytime you click on anything and you hit your E key, you're opening the dialog box, saving you the endless trips down to the open door icon. So that's a keystroke that I like to use. And snapping too. I use snapping a lot because Chief's a CAD program. You want to snap things together. So I've just the point-to-point move right here, this tool right here, I make that a S for snap. So those are the two keystrokes that I have one key controlling. Everything else is going to be two keys. So when I hit my S key, now my points go away. Now I can take and snap that exactly where I want to put it. So it just makes it super easy to move things around and get them exactly where you want them to go. John, what do you set up? Are you SS or what did you set yours up at?
I don't remember. I think I'm just S. I reverted back to that. But I just wanted to mention that if you do use a single letter for a hotkey, that's the only time it can be used.
For starting a hotkey sequence, yes.
Right. So if you use two letters, then you can use it more than once.
Yes. So if I use S for something, I cannot start another hotkey with the letter S, period. I mean, Chief's a one hotkey system. I haven't checked that in X17, but I can't imagine it's changed. So
Dan and I had a nice debate at a live class one time of whether it should be S or SS. We just had a great that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're going to create a bunch of other S hotkeys that start with S, then we got to go SS, or find something else to do with that. But no, since I use it all the time, I just go S.
And Chad's right. Double click on a single object will do the same thing. Open the object.
Well, absolutely. However, if I'm in wall mode, I can't double click on a window.
Right.
Okay.
If you select more than one thing, like if you select more than one window that you want to change, you can't double click that. You have to use that.
Well, actually, you can, John. If you double click on that, you double click on that center button, and that will open it. So anytime you group select something, just find the button with 4 arrows, and you can double click on that to open. So yes, that does work fine. I'm again of the mindset that I'd rather just hit E, and I'm not having to worry about where I click on anything to open it. I don't have to worry about which mode I'm in. So if I'm in wall mode and I want to open a window, right click E, and you're in the window dialog. And I'm still in wall mode, ready to draw more walls. So that, to me, that is about the quickest way you're going to get around the program for anything that you're working on at any time. But Chad, you are exactly right. So whatever works for you to open dialog, go for it, dude. I use 4 digits starting with 5,000 on every hotkey gets a number. Then live on Stream Deck. Yeah, there you go. Mike's got it. I mean, he's if you can get yourself to use Stream Deck and you can program your keys for that. Yeah, Mike, I saw your hotkey list that you sent me that one time. That was excellent. You got it down, dude. So you're doing it the right way. Stream Deck is a keyboard that has keys you can program to do different things, and it'll even, I think they, Mike, does it even show the icon on the keys for the different things? It's like each key has got its own little screen, I think. If I remember.
You can also set it up with an iPad and use your iPad for the.
Oh, yeah. Good point. So again, I don't do those things personally because I teach people how to use Chief, and if I get into that mode of doing that, I'm going to be, especially all of the beginners and intermediate users, I won't be able to find the icons I need to show people. So I remember we had Anthony teaching a class once at the Spanish Mansion. That was, I think, the year before your time, John.
Yeah.
And he was a hotkey kind of a guy, just all over the place. And he's trying to teach people how to do things. And he'd go, "Oh, where's that icon again? I don't remember where that icon is." So anyway, it's all good. Tab key. We talked a little bit about the tab key again. So anytime you want to move something, use the tab key to move it. So if you want to move, here's a little trick for you with dimensions. Okay, I need another string of dimensions, and you don't have to draw another string of dimensions. Just hit your copy button. And again, I've changed the hotkey to Control C, just like it should be in Windows, not Control Alt C that Chief comes set up with. I never understood that one. I just
They're
want to
two
make
different copies. Dan, they're two different copies.
Yeah, I know, but
One
Control C in Chief Standard does not allow me to drag a copy off of something, does it?
right.
Right,
You're right. It doesn't
right.
because
So that's
it's just copy.
I want to use copy just like I use in every other program on Windows.
Right.
Okay, or on Mac, Command C. So when I say Control, your Mac users just think Command. Okay, so if I hit Control C and I start dragging that dimension up, I want to make that space 15 inches away. I'm going to hit my tab key and I'm going to type 15. I've just created a brand new dimension. It's all hooked up to everything that I can now move these dimensions exactly where I want them. So not that I would do it in this case, but that's a real easy way to create dimensions and space them out exactly where you want them. Highlight, Control C, start moving, tab key, type in how far you want it to go. You don't even have to type in the tab key, just grab it and move it. So that's your Control C hotkey. Again, you can just hit the copy button if you want to as well. I use Command key and paste in place quite a bit because then I can use center or reflect and it moves the copied item appropriately. That is very true. Excellent. So, all right. Layers. You know, if you've seen Renee's toolbar, you know that I'm not anything like Renee. I was just working with a client yesterday that had Renee's toolbar up there. I'm going, whoa. Yeah, he's got just about every icon on the screen, I think. So it's pretty amazing. And I get it. I mean, as an advanced user, that's what you want to be doing, setting up things to work for you so you can draw things faster and cheap. Now, that being said, here's the icons that I add to my toolbar. That's the only changes I make to my toolbar. And again, mostly
What are
because
those icons?
what are they?
Yeah,
You
which
don't
ones
know
you
what
got?
those, you don't know which ones these are? Well, that's your hold, paste, hold position.
Well, I know what they are, but
Okay, you're just leading me in. Thanks, John.
I'm leading you on
Uh,
here.
you're good at it. I figured you knew what they were. This is hide layers. This is the layer sprayer, the layer picker, the layer eyedropper. This is your fill sprayer and your fill eyedropper. This is your screen capture. And this one is, what the hell is, I forgot what that one is. That's your, copy view to clipboard. Why did I put that on there? I never use that, but I suppose that could come in handy.
How do
Um,
you do that? Copy view to clipboard.
I don't know.
Is
View
that the
copy
same
to
thing as
clipboard.
capture? It's not the same thing as capture.
It is. Look at that. Huh. So all I did was if I zoom in here and I click that icon, copy view to clipboard, see the little down here at the bottom of the screen.
All right,
I
now
could just,
now
I could go,
open up a dialog.
I
Open up
could
a
go,
window.
I could paste that anywhere. What kind of a window?
Select something and open the object. Can you do that? Can you do it with that?
No,
No.
because I'm in here doing something. Yeah, no, that
Everybody
would be nice, wouldn't it?
request to Chief that they make it so we can copy our
Yeah, that would be nice. So like when I'm doing stuff like this, and I don't want to have to remember the numbers. I just do a screen capture. But we can't do that when another dialog's open in Chief. But that's a great suggestion, John. I like that one. I suppose we could use the screen capture screen, the print screen.
yeah.
Windows
Well,
has,
you can also use the screen capture for Windows, the
yeah.
snip tool bit.
Well, yeah. Windows, if you just hit your print screen on your keyboard in Windows, I think 10 and 11, then you can just do this, and you've just captured that.
Right.
And
But it'd be so much nicer if it was just all within Chief.
exactly, I agree. Let's talk about a couple of those icons real quick. Hide layers. So I use this all the time when I'm working on things. So I put that the paste hold position. That's that's when you copy something from one floor to another, you use paste hold position. But hide layers, you just hit that icon. It's under tools, layers, settings, layer hider. Here's those icons: layer painter, eyedropper, hider, and you just click on that, and you can hide layers at any time. To turn them back on, you do have to go into the layers and turn it back on, or sometimes I'll just hit Control Z to undo it because I'm turning a layer off to do something, not turning it back on when I'm done with it. Well, thanks, Jed. Pro Academy. It's coming. And next one is layer paint. Well, let's go layer eyedropper. So let's say that I want to draw a CAD line here, and I'm going to use that CAD line as a dimension. Okay, I'm going to dimension it for some reason. But I want that line that I drew to go on and off with my dimensions. So if I turn off my dimensions, the line is still there. Well, now I could use this tool here, the layer eyedropper tool, this one right here. It's just like selecting materials, only you're selecting a layer. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on the layer I want, and then I'm going to click on what I want to paste it on. You see how it turns into a spray can? So now I could spray that layer onto that line. So now when I hide my dimensions, that line is part of the dimension layer. So that goes off with that as well. So that's that, the layer, that. And this one here just allows you to select the layer, and then you can start spraying it on different things in your plan, just like you're spraying a material on anything. So you're just doing it with layers. This tool up here, the next one, I use this once in a while. So if you have some CAD boxes and you have a fill style in them, say you have a hatch pattern or something like that, you want to put that hatch pattern into some other areas. I haven't tried it in rooms or anything. I don't know if it works for that. We should try that sometime. But
Let's try right now.
I could do a fill style eyedropper. I will. And let's select that fill style, and then it turns into that spray can. Okay. And I could spray that onto that CAD box, or I could spray it into that room. Look at that. So I could do that with the CAD if I have different rooms laid out in my plan, and I have different patterns that I want to put in those rooms. I could use I could just put it in one room. Let's just try that. So I go to fill style. I put in a hatch pattern. Let's do an angled hatch for the heck of it. Okay, so now I have a fill style in there. So if I select my eyedropper tool, now I can put that in other rooms. Cool.
That's pretty
I like
cool.
that. That is cool. Can I move that pattern around like I can a material? I haven't checked that yet. You know how you can move a material on a wall now? I don't see any icons that would allow me to do that. Nope. You know what I'm talking about, moving a material on a wall?
Just with the material region, are you talking about something else?
Yeah, so if you put a material in your plan, well, let's say that hardwood floor,
Yeah.
and I want to move it so that, this edge is right against the wall. I can click on that material, and oh shoot, no, I'm a mind blank here. Where did that go? What tool is that again?
You're
Oh
talking about
no,
the wall material? There's a wall material tool.
no, it's a material. Anybody know the tool I'm thinking of, so I can select that material and move it within the space that it's in. What is that again? Um, oh, for Pete's sake. I haven't used it for a while, so I don't remember. Auto remake. It turns into a little triangle that you can do things with that material. It's got to be a material tool. It's under tools. Oh, I know where it is. It's not an icon. Tools, 3D materials, adjust materials, adjust interactive material editor. I believe that's it. When I click on that material, see, you get this little triangle, and I
Okay.
could grab the 4 arrows and see how I can move that material around in that
Oh,
room.
for like a tile shower or something, you want to change where the pattern lays.
Exactly. So
Oh, that's cool.
plus I could grab one of the corners, make it bigger that way, make it bigger that way, or grab this line and make it bigger both ways. So you can resize the whole thing. And that's a pretty cool tool that they added in Chief.
That
So if I
maybe
were to
should be
go,
far.
I know, I wonder why they didn't put that up there somewhere.
Well, it's got an icon. You sure it's not a? It's not one you can.
I haven't seen it. So if we go to 3D, adjust materials, it's interactive material editor. So I haven't really looked for that icon because I haven't used it that much, but it's
Mhm.
there. So that's a pretty cool tool. So again, if you bring in a material and you want to size it, you can do that right from the screen here. That triangle. What? No way, Doug says. Yeah, way. So let's try a different material. Let's go let's try one of the screen capture tools that I've added to my toolbar because why not? Okay, so I'm up here. There's the screen capture right here. I'm going to go get some tile. Let's just go find something online real quick. Let me bring up a window. Oh, by the way, look at that. We're having a class come. It's good interruption here, John.
Yeah.
Uh, John and I are going to be doing a class here in Bloomington. Beginner intermediate training October 6th and 7th, and then intermediate advanced October 8th and 9th. And if you want to get the most out of everything, come for all 4 days. So you can do that. But just go to chiefexperts.com. You can find out all about that. We do it in a hotel near the airport. So you're like 5 minutes from the airport. It's a nice little hotel with reasonable room rates. I think 100 and I forget what hotel rates were these days. 51 days away. It'll be here before you know it. Let's see. Oh, I had the rates on the screen here. Maybe not. Oh, that's no good. I got to fix this
Mm-hmm.
because there's supposed to be a link here to go sign up for a room with a better rate. My bad. I'll get that fixed. But it's fun class. John and I have a lot of fun with that. And they're usually small classes, 12 to 15, give or take. I mean, so it's we always have a lot of fun with those. And you'll learn a ton. And if you get some time, you can come. Oh, here it is, hotel website. See if it goes to a link. I think the rooms are $120, something like that a night. It's pretty reasonable pricing. And that comes, of course, with the lovely free breakfast and all that good stuff. Okay, let's get out of that. And what was I doing? I was going to go look
You
for
were
some
gonna go look
tile.
for a tile. Robin says go
Let's
to the tile bar. She's paying attention here, and
tile bar.
tile
What's a
bar.
tile bar?
It has a lot of tile on it.
I'm
Type
just going
in.
to I'm just going to type in tile texture. Anytime you type in the word texture, you're going to find pictures of things that start and stop better. In
Now
other
she's
words,
gonna be
when,
texting me, Dan.
huh?
Now she's gonna be texting me because you didn't listen to her.
Tile bar. Is that like a bar when you go drinking? Um, Tile bar. Okay. Go find something at the tile bar. Get free samples. All right. Let's see.
That one
That
there.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Line it
right.
up centered in the room.
We'll go with this one. Can I get a bigger picture? All right. Here it is. So here's a picture. And when you think of a texture, when I put a copy of this against here, they'll line up. All right. So let's go capture that. Now, I can't, can I do a copy? No. So we're going to do a screen capture. It's going to have that little icon on there, which I don't like, but that's just the way it's going to be right now. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go back to Chief, hit my icon. This is under Tools, Screen Capture. And you always want to choose Screen Capture Setup. Screen Capture Setup, not Screen Capture, just Setup. And I'm going to click on that and I'm going to capture a material. I want to make a material. Okay, make a material. I'm going to hide Chief while I'm capturing because that image is behind the program. I'm going to hit capture. I'm going to go capture that image. Okay, I'm going to do the best I can to get it right where I need it. This is not the most perfect way to do it. See, I'm going to get a little white border there now because I'm not quite getting it just right. But this is the concept that you use. So Chief has automatically added that tile to my library, and I could now go and put that on that floor, just like that. Of course, that floor I had put the diamond on before and I stretched it all out. I need to edit this material. So let's go to the material in the library and right click on it, hit show, open object, and I'm going to go to texture and I'm going to tell it to not stretch to fit. I don't want to stretch it to fit. I want it to be I want it to be so I can tile it over the surface that I'm putting it on. It'll just keep repeating itself, much like wallpaper. So I've got it 20 inches by 20 inches. The pattern, this is the CAD part of this. I could try to get a pattern from the texture. It's not too bad. Okay, that's a pretty clean image. We can see how that looks in our plan. It might be a lot of CAD lines. It might slow your plan down, but that's okay. And we'll click OK to that. And now let's put that back in the room. And now I get more of that tile texture. So you could see, if I look close, I could probably see that white line and see where it repeats, but you can see the different images coming. But see how simple that is to do when you use the right tools. So it works really, really well. And again, I could go in here. I could go up to my 3D menu, adjust materials, interactive material editor. I could click on this. I want to make that a little bigger or smaller. I want to move it in the room to a specific spot. I can move it both ways. And I'm just moving it in this room. It's not going to move it anywhere else. Where in the old days, if you moved it someplace, it moved it everywhere in your plan. So that's the interactive material editor. And that's what
Pretty
that
cool.
screen capture thing does. I use a screen capture thing all the time for a lot of different things. Google Maps, if I'm in Google Maps, I'll use it to capture an image of the house, street views, all that kind of stuff. Little tip for that: when you're doing those images like that, roll in on your screen so you're zoomed way in. And when you do a screen capture, I'm going to capture a picture, not an image, and I'm going to hit capture. And then let's pretend this is the map that I want to capture. There it is. I'm done. I got that one. Let's go get another one. I'll capture something else. Let's go capture this. Okay. So now I'm done with this. Okay. So now I've captured a couple images. And let's say you brought a couple images in from your computer, and you've zoomed into a spot and you put those images so they're nice and tiny in there, and you want to resize them. I love this. This tool here is one of my favorites for resizing things. So when I click on one thing and I hold my control key and click on it again, that little circle I get right there, or when I group select something, I get a little circle. That's your resize handle. So you could grab that and you can resize this. So sometimes it hides under that triangle. It's a little glitch they should fix. If I want to move that in 12 inches, I'll hit my tab key, go -12, and I'll just resize this thing 12 inches. So anyway, that's your resize tool. Anything that you can grab where you see that circle. So if I highlight that, there's that circle. I could resize that whole thing, whatever size I want. Of course, it wouldn't be to scale if I do that, but that's the resize tool.
Robin says you did a good job, Dan.
Thanks, Robin. Hope you're having a good day. I know you're hard at work getting setting up for your school. Robin runs a Portland Community College architectural program. Do you run the whole program, Robin, or just the chief architect part of it? That's really awesome that your school does that. Mike says he doesn't have an eye for that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't either. I don't decorate. I can tell people they have any color they want as long as it's tan. And that's the extent of my decorating. I do space planning, I do plans, working drawings, structural, all of that stuff. I can do a little bit of colors, but we leave that up to Kevin. Kevin's the magician for that stuff. And all you other really good designers out there.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at, John?
I envy that skill.
I do too. That and landscaping. Landscaping's been one of those things that I feel bad for my wife. She wants help, and it's just like, I don't know, just I'll mow the grass. Okay.
That's just
the mouse button. The mouse. Did you guys know the mouse does a ton of stuff? Not the 3D mouse, just the plain old 2-button mouse with a wheel. Okay. I think I threw this up here. So you can do so many things. Let's just talk about the right mouse button for a second. Okay. I need to add some things to this too. I have a list somewhere. I couldn't find it right before this, but to open a dialog, right click, E key. Okay, done. Or double right click and hit open object. Pick and select any item. Okay, so when you're working on your plan and you want to select things, the right mouse button allows you to select anything in your plan. It's called your pick button. So you can click on anything without having to go into the dialog into that item, or clicking your space bar. This icon right here, if you hit your space bar, it'll select that icon. It'll take you out of whatever mode you're in and put you into that, which that does allow you to double click on anything in your plan, or to just click on anything in your plan, just much like the right mouse button. So that becomes the pick button as well. Plus, behind that button, when you double click on it, it's also got some settings for your plan. They put two grids on here, or two tabs on here now. This used to be one. This one still bugs me. I still don't know why they don't change this, and that is, well, actually, allow editing for home designer products. If you're working with someone that has the chief home designer product and you have the pro, the chief premier, you can work back and forth within the plans. They won't see any of your layers that you add. I mean, it's very limited on what you can do with it, but you could still do a lot. But this one right here, ignore casing before when resizing wall openings. Why, John? Why? And I guess we need to bring this up in Coeur d'Alene this year. Why don't you put that in with the window defaults? Okay, because that's what it is, windows and doors. Why would you put it here? It's been there since version 1.
It is with
Okay.
the windows too.
Huh?
It
Where?
says ignore casing.
It's in the Windows dialog. Let's
So
see.
you're doing something different. You're saying something different.
Well, let me show you what that
What
tool
I was thinking.
does. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
Windows.
it makes it so you can bump the door past the casing.
Exactly. So if I put a door, if I want to put a door in and I don't want the normally the casing bumps into the wall, but I want the jamb to bump into the wall because I don't have a lot of room. So I can double click on this and I could say ignore casing when resizing wall components. So now I could push that door against the wall like that. Okay.
Oh, did you hear what it said? Did you hear what it said?
No. Did I hear what it said? What it
Casing
said?
when you're resizing wall components.
Ignore casing when resizing wall components, items in a wall, windows and doors.
Yeah, but also moving walls and stuff too. You can't push a wall past the casing if you're trying to resize a room or something.
All right, let's try that. So if I go here and I turn it back off, oops. So I guess that's a hack. I mean, if you want to do what I'm telling you, where you want to put this, I want to move this wall. Let's see. Oh, there you go. I could move that. I do have it turned off, right? Ignore. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Put the door and then to move the wall over the casing. The other thing you could do is to turn the casing off. I guess
How
that
about
would
if you how
probably
about if
work
you hit
too.
what if you hit the control key?
To move it, I don't think that works. No, nothing. Just
Hmm.
continues to bump. Not a big deal. It's just one of those little things I've never understood. We're on
Yeah,
version
you're
20.
right. It would be nice. It would be nice if it was in the door and window stuff, so you could do it per
Yeah,
door
give,
and window, not
give
for
me
the
an
whole thing.
option. Exactly. Give me an option for moving that door.
Yeah, because
Not a
it's
big deal, but
like a couple
uh,
it's usually closets that it ends up being a problem.
exactly, like a linen closet or a
Like the
hallway
inside
when you
of
want.
a closet or something. Yeah,
Yep, yep. I mean, you can turn the casing off and then move it. That works too. But anyway, not a big deal. All
or a
right, where
heater
is it?
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little room for a heater or something.
So anybody have any questions, John?
They're just making comments mostly. Vicky did have a question about where we meet in Coeur d'Alene, and it's Crickets.
Is that the name
Uh,
of the place? Crickets. Okay.
Oyster and something bar. Oh, I got it right
Uh,
here. Oyster restaurant and oyster bar. Crickets restaurant and oyster bar. It's right across the street from the metal frame rabbit. The rabbit's about 5 feet tall by 8 feet long, something like that.
Sherman Street. Yep, that's the one.
So Crickets. They got an outdoor seating area that should help a little bit too to find it.
There it is. Yep.
And what I was going to mention when you mentioned that before, we get there about 1, and I think we usually stay there till like 3 or 4 o'clock or later.
Yeah. Typically, I mean, none of us can get into our VRBOs till 4 o'clock anyway. But it's just we'll stay there as long as people want to stay and chat because it's just especially if the weather's nice. I mean, there was one day it was raining. I don't think we could do it, but all in all, it's pretty cool. So that's where we'll be. Hey. Oh, okay. Here, and I'll hold that for you because you just mentioned it. Unless you call me and tell me different. We get in on Tuesday about noon, and it's about a 45-minute hour drive from Spokane Airport to Coeur d'Alene, and we'll just head right downtown to Crickets. And the Airbnb is available, or VRBO is available from Tuesday through Saturday morning. We got to be out Saturday morning, so we get the whole time there. We're about a mile and a half from the training route where Chief is doing their training. All right, but yeah, please drop John or me or any one of us a line. If let us know you might be there, and it'd be nice if we could expect you. So it's always fun if we know people are coming. All
So
right.
that little trick you were doing with the casing, does that work on the windows too?
Yes, it does. Now, windows, when you're in a corner, you can push those past the corner because when you want to make a corner window, you can, do that. No, it just creates a corner window. All I did was push it in there. I didn't hold the control key down or anything. By default, it's going to add a post. And I believe, I don't know if you click on both or one of them, but you can tell the program to, where is it, under frame, I believe, to get rid of the post or miter the corner. Okay. And that makes it just like that. So there you don't need to use that tool to push it into the corner, although it's going to move it past the corner. I'm glad to see they got this working a little better. That was.
I was going to ask, have you noticed it working better? Because I know when they first came out with it, you get it working and then it quit working. And
Well, it's probably the first time I put one of those in since we talked about it last time. Anyway, but last time I think we had trouble with it; wouldn't work. So,
right.
And maybe if I open a different plan and tried it, it won't work there either. So who knows?
Maybe.
Okay, you guys, let's see. Break-in stairs. You know what I'm talking about, John, right?
I know what you're breaking. I
You
know
know what
I know how you're breaking the stairs.
Yeah. Here, let me just get rid of that fill style here real quick. Let me select my fill style and paint in no fill style. So let's draw some stairs going up. Okay. This will cover a couple of things that I want to show you. So when we put in a stairway, we have a wall here. Let's just dimension this to 39, well, 40, whatever. Let's go 40. Okay, and I'm going to make a stair go up. All right, so there's my stairs going up to the second floor. And of course, first thing you do is open it, check the riser height, all that good stuff. But I want to make a stairway that the stair wraps around the end of the wall here, and the balusters go up against that right there. So let me bring up a view of this. Got the right thing? I don't. Let me get out of here. And let me go there. Okay, so there's that stairway that I've just drawn. Let me turn on my display and pull that over. Okay, stairs are one of those tools in Chief that, yep, they're getting there, slow but sure, very slow but sure, but it's starting to work. So I want to make my stairs have a railing on part of this here. Okay, so what I would do is I'm going to break this wall. I'm not even going to break the wall yet. I'm just going to break the stairs. Now, stairs are created by drawing a CAD line. All right. So when you draw stairs, you're basically drawing a line. Okay. When you click on the stairs, see that white line going down the middle? Same thing. All right. So when you break a line, you're breaking it and it does this. Okay. And if you did that to a stairway, nothing will happen. Okay. It just adds a break there that doesn't do anything. But what you want to do is make sure when you're doing a stairway, you're doing what's called a complete break. So you're going to hit the break tool, and then you're going to look at over here on the left, and there's a little break tool with a C on it. Okay, see the C? That stands for complete break. So I'm going to click on the line, and now when you see that, you see it. Oops, I guess I missed. Let's try that again. Draw a line, click, break, complete break, click on the line, and when I move that over, see how it completely separates it? It's another two separate lines. So that's what we're attempting to do when we're trying to create this kind of a stair. We're doing a complete break. So I'm going to do break, complete break. I'm going to break it at one of the risers. Now I have two separate stairs, and if you hold your control key down and select one of them, I could put different railings, different treads, different anything on that piece separate from the other stair, but they'll stay hooked together. The other thing I can do is I can resize this piece separately from the other stair, so I could drag that over the wall where Chief's going to cut off the wall automatically. I'll pull this wall back a little bit and get it so that that wall is back under the second riser. Now we got it pretty clean looking down here. We've got two problems with this yet. We've got the no sheetrock on the end of that. We'll fix that in a second. And we've got the railing is not quite centered on the wall there. Chief will not yet do the old, we've got it has to wrap around like that. So you're just going to have to point that out with a drawing, a picture of something if you want to get that way. So here's what we do next. We're going to click on that piece of stair. Remember, we did a complete break, so it's like working on two separate stairways now. So I'm going to click on this bottom one, open its dialog, and I'm going to go to the railing setting, and I'm going to do a horizontal offset. That's what will move the railing on to this wall. So I'm going to go about 1.5 inches. And if you look at the picture, when I click on a different box, you'll see which way the railing's moving. See how it moved in? That's the way I wanted it to go. Click OK, and now I've just centered it on that wall. All right, next step is we got to get sheetrock on the end of that wall because that doesn't look very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the wall on the floor plan. I'm going to put a break right there with the break tool. And you'll see that Chief will show the sheetrock there now. Trouble with that, that's great. Okay, so doing what it's supposed to do. Trouble with that is when I open and close the dialog box, Chief's going to hook that wall back up into one wall, and now it's like, oh, rats, it's gone. So let's put that break back in there. And this time, let's flip the layer of the wall. So again, walls are created with a CAD line. All right, so they're created with a CAD line. So right now, this CAD line is on the right side of the wall. I want to put the CAD line on the left side of this wall, leave the CAD line on the right side of that wall. So I'm going to use the flip wall tool, and that will make it so those CAD lines cannot hook up again. And now they'll always be with the sheetrock. The wall will stay broken no matter what I do, and you eliminate that problem of getting the sheetrock on the end of that wall. So finally got that one figured out, John. It only took about 10 years.
What, flipping the wall over?
Getting a stairway in like this really easily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's super not intuitive. I guess that'd be one way to put it. Let me do another railing thing real quick that is super not intuitive. Let's do the old porch rail with the columns that set back. You know where I'm going with this, right?
I think so.
You think? You probably do, because you've seen me do it many times. So I just drew some railings out here. All right. So I used interior railings. I could use deck railings. Doesn't really matter, but I'm going to group select all three of those walls. And I'm going to make this with columns to a beam. I'll leave the railing on there. You can turn it off if you want. Let's open the dialog for those three. Okay. Here's the trick to this. So the first thing is the wall type. Okay, see how this picture here shows sheetrock right here? I don't want that to happen against my concrete slab because I'm going to make this a concrete porch. All right, so I'm going to turn that sheetrock off. So let's go to our
no. Just change it into concrete.
Change that into concrete?
Yeah.
No, well, I could do that, or I could just select a wall that doesn't have any sheetrock on it, like the framing wall. Doesn't matter.
Right. There's a reason for it. I can't put my finger on the top of it on it right now, but there's a reason why I do that. Why I change it.
If you think about it, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll just typically click to a framing wall. It's just one. It's just two lines, nothing else. All right, then I'm going to go to general. And this is where you got to start thinking. Okay, so what size do I want my columns to be? Well, I want my columns to be 8 inches, but I want the column to stick back from the edge 1 inch on each side. So I need to change this thickness. Okay, you wonder what the heck does this mean? Because I already set all the thickness and stuff up under the wall types. Well, this has to do with what we're trying to create here. So I'm going to override that and just type in 10. All right. And then I'm going to go to my newels and balusters. So that's a big one right there, thickness. That's the one that I think a lot of people don't realize what it's for. That's going to allow me to move the railing, the posts onto the concrete. Then I'm going to go into the rail style for newels and balusters. Well, rail style, I guess. I'm going to go make this open. I'll get rid of the railing altogether. So I'm going to turn off all my railing stuff. Now I'm going to go post to beam. I'll make it so there is no post against the house. And then I'm going to go to my newels and balusters, make them post 8 inches. Don't care about the height because that's going to be determined by the room because we went post to beam. Then I'm going to go to my rails and I can make my beam whatever size I want. I'll make that 8 inches as well, and I'll make it 12 inches tall. And you can offset the railing up and down as well from the ceiling height if you use these. This will offset it from the post. This will offset it from the ceiling height, depending on where you want that to go. So that's the 3 things you got to do. Watch that, change your the rail style, go to the newels and balusters, click OK. And now you'll see how it's set back 1 inch from the edge of that room. Now I'll just go back into this room and I'll open its dialog box and we'll go into the room type. Under my template, I have one called Porch Concrete. That'll just automatically put a concrete floor in. And now I've got a nice little concrete floor. There's your post to beam. Pretty simple. And I love the tool that they added here where I can edit where the newel posts are. I can add newel posts in. I can delete newel posts. And that's this little tool right here. Move newel posts. So when I click on the rail and I click on that tool, you see how I can select the newel posts and move them. I got it too close to the corner, I guess. Now let's put it back at the corner. So now I've just got 2. If I need another one, I could hit the plus sign, add another one. Hit the plus sign, add another one. So you got a ton of flexibility now on where you can put those things. That is huge. How much I used to have to draw all this stuff out of slabs years ago until they added that tool. That's a nice tool, that one.
You know what I used to do?
What's that?
If you to add posts in there, I would just put a break in the wall and flip one of them.
Yeah, but a lot of times though, you would get 2 posts then overlapping each other, and it never worked right for me.
It seems like it only happened on the corner.
Yeah,
Anyway,
something like that.
So now show us the new tools that they have for it that they came up with in 15 or 16, where you can just offset the railing and still get the 1 inch reveal there.
All right, one more thing. We got just a few more minutes left. Let me show you this thing here.
There were a couple questions too that I found.
All right, let me do this one quick. So let's say that you're using the tool up here for your notes. Okay, you use the note tool. And you click here and you add a note, and it shows up on the note schedule. Okay, you click here, add a note, shows up on the note schedule. So there's number 1 and 2, So create a note schedule by going to note type management, and you can create a new schedule if you want to. I've got a bunch in my template that I've created. I found I don't use note templates very much. I thought I would use them a lot more. But let's say that you have plans that you kind of tend to add a lot of the same notes all the time. But maybe you have, here we have 10 different kinds of notes. And, in this particular plan, I need to use, 3 or 4 of those. So I've added that, I've created those notes. They're separate items. Okay, so let me just unblock this quick. So they're all separate notes. Okay, so if I take that and I block it and I add it to my library, so I'm going to click add to library. All right, before I do that though, it's not, anytime you're adding something to the library, if you can open the dialog and name it first, it's not a bad idea. Let's call it my new notes. Click OK. Now I'm going to add it to my library. And there it is in my library. It's called new notes. Now, anytime I need that, if I need to change something in that, I don't have to put it back in my plan and put it back in the library. Just right click on it, hit edit CAD block, because that's what it is. It's a group of text. And I could go into this CAD block now and edit it. So I could go in here, and if I wanted to, I could edit this text and change it. I could click here and add another text in. So you could just make all the changes you want to this all day long, and without having to unblock it. Okay, when you're done, just close it. It's going to ask you to save it. Hit save. Yes. So now that's in my library, under my user library, under my library. Now it's going to see all the changes in there now. All right, so put those notes just so when you want to add it, you want to create all the notes for a room, and you've already got a whole list of notes. Bring it back into your plan, unblock it. You do have to unblock it here. And then all I have to do is, let's say I want to use this one. I'm gonna click on this icon right here. I don't have a hotkey for this yet, but I might if I were to use this a bunch. Convert text to note. So I could do this. What schedule do I want it to be on? Click that. I want this one to be on the schedule as well. Click that. Hit OK. And I want this one. I don't think I can do I haven't tried this with multiple, but you could try that if you wanted to. So now I've added those. So now all I got to do is just move these numbers to where I want them to be in my plan. If I need extra, I could make copies of them and paste them. So really easy way to add those notes without having to retype something into your plan. So there you go. I like that one. That was kind of fun. I was working with someone yesterday. We figured that out. What do you think? You like that one?
I don't know yet. I'm wondering if you could just do the same thing with just the note schedule and block it. Can you put a note schedule with the note icons into a library together?
Yeah, but not with the. It's only going to put the format of the note schedule, not the notes. Okay, because those are separate.
So yes, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, because I did play with that one. So anyway, what a couple questions. What do we got? Real quick ones.
There was a question about whether or not top of a beam extend above a ceiling height.
In the railing like this?
I assume so, yeah.
Mike's asking that. That's where your offset would come in. So let me think about that. So if we go here to rails, let me see if this works. So what I would do is do a vertical offset. Let's just go 6. Oh, okay. It makes it 6 inches taller. But if I make it 18 inches high, will it bring it back down? No, it's lowering that whole thing. I don't know if I have top rail, middle rail, bottom default. I'm just trying to think if there's a way to raise the posts that up to that. Because typically these kind of beams in this dialog are controlled by the ceiling height of the room. So I'm going to say off the top of my head, no, you can't extend the top of that beam past the ceiling height. You'd have to either draw that beam manually or just move your ceiling height up and then put a separate ceiling in using the ceiling tool. You know, the roof plane tool, the ceiling plane tool under roofs. That would be another way to do it. I'm going to give a firm. I don't know on that one. All right. Anything else? Oh, there's Victor. Victor, you're the guy that I discovered those note things with. That was a good call we had yesterday. Thanks. Try the baluster option. I just tried that, didn't I? Let's try that. Okay, we'll go into balusters, height. Oh, here, let's go back here. And we do a vertical offset of 6. And we're making that 18. And we're going to go adjust our newels and balusters up to 9 feet. Yeah, that doesn't have any effect on the baluster height.
Yeah. I discovered something the other day. I wish they'd incorporate.
Interesting.
I wish they'd incorporate with the roof tool, and that is a railing that goes underneath the stairway will cut the top of the railing off and follow the pitch of the stairway. But if you do that in a roof, it won't do that, or a ceiling won't cut a railing off like it does with the wall.
Offset the bottom. Oh, gonna play with that one. Worst case, I just draw it in with the slab tool. Good suggestion, Aaron. All right, let's see here. Another question, real quick.
Here's a question D had toward the beginning. When working in a plan, if I need to change a default, will the changes be made to all the drawings or only from the point where I made the change in the default?
All right, depends on what default it is. I do know, I think like with windows and doors, if you change the trim and you're still using the default trim, they may change. The materials will. If you're still using the same materials on a window and it's the default and you change the default, it'll change those materials. Only for the plan you're working on, nothing else. It's not going to, once you open a new plan, it's all the defaults are just for that plan. There's no effect on any previous or future plans unless you add it to your template. So you would have to add it to your template to make that work. Let's see. Did that answer it? Defaults are one of those things you really have to play with. And I'll cover one more thing real quick as long as we're in that. And that's when you are changing materials for something. Okay, I think a lot of people miss this. So let's say that I want to put that lovely tile all over my cabinets. All right, so I'm going to click the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to click on that tile. And then sometimes what people do is they'll just start pasting it on different pieces of the places where they want to put it. All right, so when it comes to defaults, we don't have to change defaults to change a whole bunch of things at once. What we're going to do is just change the material to a different material. And we do that by using these icons in the bottom left corner. Okay, so we want to be sure to use these. So this first one, the C, stands for the component. So here on my cabinet, it might be that door panel, it might be a drawer panel, it might be a side panel. Those are components. The object would be the whole cabinet. Okay, the R would be everything in the room. So anything painted with this white material in this room would change to whatever I spray onto it when I select the R. F is the entire floor. P is for the entire plan. This allows me to make a copy of that material and change it and then add that. So let's go try that real quick. So if I want to change all those cabinets really quickly to that tile and I go entire room and I click, anything with that material will change in that room. The trim and the millwork are different color. So if I want to change all those for this room, I could do that too. I could click on that and I guess the windows are a different color. So just keep that in mind. You're actually changing the material for a whole group of items at once. So it's a really simple way to change defaults in a plan. Not recommended to use that material on your cabinets and trim, but you get the idea, I hope. Aaron likes his hack stuff, huh? He wants to do it on the next designer show. Way to go, Aaron. Good suggestion. Yeah, we could continue more of this. We could do some Q&A next time, too. All right. I think we're done, John.
Mike's wondering pros and cons about using the eyedropper or paste material changes. Sometimes things get weird.
Depends on where you're using it. I don't like to use it on exterior walls for the eyedropper tool because when I change that siding to a different material using the eyedropper, I'm just putting that material over the top of the siding that's already there. So if I go to change the wall type won't change because the concrete's covering it. So I always recommend, for exterior walls, interior walls, no big deal. Paint the sheetrock, do whatever you want. Exterior walls, this seems to be the big one. There I'm going to go in the wall type and I'm going to just change the material here. And then I'm going to create new wall types with the different materials on it. And I'm going to replace the wall with that. That's how I tend to do all of those. But I do say, yeah, if you want to use a material painter and it's just easier for you, go ahead. Don't worry about it. It's only going to be an issue if you try to replace the wall with a different wall and the materials don't change. Other than that, I like material painter. It works great on everything.
The other thing to be aware of is the material painter will not change the thickness of things. Like if you had siding and brick,
right?
If you just paint the siding, it's not going to change the thickness of it. So
it's not going to be a 4-inch thick brick. Exactly. Right. Good point.
Yep.
The other tool you want to use a lot would be the material rainbow bacon tool, we call it. It used to be shaped like a rainbow, so we call it the rainbow tool. Then they flattened it out, and now Renee calls it the bacon tool. So I just call it the rainbow bacon tool. Anyway, that's probably not what it's called. It's called the defined material tool. So here you can go in. If I want to change all my blue siding to a different color all at once, I'm going to use the Rainbow Bacon tool. I'm going to go into the texture, and I'm going to hit the color here. I'm going to hit blend with texture, and then I'm just going to go pick a color somewhere on my computer. I want that green right there, so I'll pick it. Now it's going to keep, because I clicked blend with texture, it's going to keep the siding image, but it's going to change the blue color to that green color. I'll still have the siding, and your house is going to glow like crazy. So you could do that. That's fine. You're just changing the material to a different color. You might want to change the name of the material maybe. So you could do that again using the Rainbow Bacon tool and just click and change it. Now it's my green siding, very green siding. And that's another way to do that. All right. We've got to go, I think. So everybody, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Let us know if you have any questions or need help with anything. And that's why we're here. So our whole gang. I know Kevin was out on vacation. He was just in the Mackinac Islands. He just sent me this crazy picture that he thought even Renee could not draw, but maybe he could. It was pretty cool. Here, I got to show you this. This is really something. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't.
Pretty there, right there.
There you go. Yeah. I don't think Renee's going to draw that one.
You only have to draw like 6 different items and then just keep repeating them.
I suppose. Be a piece of cake. He'd figure it out. I guarantee it. And again, look us up in Coeur d'Alene if you're going to be there. Otherwise, we'll see you on, I think, the 1st, right? September 1st is the next Wednesday. No, what date is that? It would be, we got 5 Fridays this week. So it's going to be in the 5th of September. The next time we see you. We don't do the 5th Friday. So you guys take care. Have a great and lovely time, and we'll see you next time on the Designer Show. Thanks.
And if you're coming to Coeur d'Alene, make sure you say hi.
Yes, please do. See you later. Bye, guys.